If you've ever seen one of those listicles online about the world's richest athletes, you probably recognize a lot of the names, even if you don't follow sports. LeBron James, Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, Tiger Woods. But near the top of the most recent list is one name that may not be as well recognized, even by people who do follow sports: Canelo Alvarez. He was the fourth richest athlete in the world in the Forbes 2019 list, above LeBron James, Aaron Rodgers, and many others. Now, two things make Alvarez different from his neighbors in this elite neighborhood. First, he's a boxer. And second, unlike the rest of them, he only worked 2 nights in 2019. LeBron schlepped up and down the court for more than 100 games. Tiger Woods walked the golf course 4 days a week for most of the year. And Lionel Messi put in 90 solid minutes on the pitch dozens and dozens of times. But Canelo Alvarez, 2 fights. How's that possible? Is it because boxing is so popular? Well, ask yourself. Do you ever hear people talking about boxing? Do you know a bunch of boxing fans? In terms of TV ratings, boxing's not even in the top 10 most popular sports in the country. It ranks way below soccer, for goodness sake. Alvarez can make money like that because of one thing: pay-per-view events. Pay-per-view events are major events that people can purchase on a one-off basis and watch in their homes or on their computers, and people do. A couple years ago, Floyd Mayweather Jr. made $275 million for a single fight. And that's because nearly 7 million people paid about $100 each for them and their friends to watch the event live. The famous boxing promoter Don King reacted to the 9-figure payout given to this fighter for a single pay-per-view event and said, that's an entire season of revenue for some professional teams. That's right, it sure is, and that's just one way to put it. Why does this matter to you? Because words matter. The term online event, or worse yet, virtual event, may not fully convey the opportunity that new platforms like Stellar offer to live entertainment and arts creators. Because what comes to mind when you hear online event might be half-baked Zoom-type events like the ones that popped up right after the shutdown in early 2020. Forget those. They're history. They have nothing to do with what we're talking about now. Instead, if it helps, think of it this way. Platforms like Stellar are democratizing pay-per-view and the incredibly rich opportunities that the format opens up. Now, though, you don't need a dozen satellite trucks. You don't need to deal with Showtime. You don't need to book 500 rooms at the MGM Grand Las Vegas for the support team. You just need to be able to create a great show that's built to be an event worthy of being watched by a lot of people who will be happy to pay to see it. Now, I've seen several examples over just the past couple of months where artists and venues and organizations have made as much money in a single night or a couple of nights as it might take an entire season or tour to generate the old-fashioned way. Not bad, huh? Some of you are going to say that I'm not Canelo Alvarez, and that's true. Although it's probably also true that you didn't have any idea who he was before I mentioned him earlier in the video. Some of you are going to say that I'm not BTS. Well, that's true too. The K-pop band that grossed first $20 and then $44 million in 2 online pay-per-view events earlier in this year are extremely famous. But I bet you don't need $44 million to make a big impact on your organization's financial health or on your own bottom line either. You might not be Floyd Money Mayweather, but you could bring in a lot less than his $275 million payday and consider it a pretty good night's work. Mid-tier bands, regional theaters, independent artists, YouTube stars, and others are doing their own pay-per-view type events through Stellar and other platforms and reaping financial rewards that would have taken far more time and effort to achieve with in-person events. And of course, during COVID, in-person events aren't even possible, so there's that. So if it helps, forget the term online event or virtual event. Think of this new power, this new capability in your hands, as a democratized form of pay-per-view, accessible to more content creators, producers, artists, and acts than ever before. And if pay-per-view sounds a little dated, which it does, I've got a suggestion. Premium broadcast event. Stellar and platforms like it enable any live entertainment professional to create their own premium broadcast event. If we can help get you started, click on the link below.